All right, I'm live. Professor Matthews, Dr. Matthews, Learning About Movies channel. This is a June 2022 streaming of what I watched, what I liked, what I recommend. I'm going to give you about 5 or 6 movies here. Do a very quick show, quick run through. Then I'll check out your comments. Yeah, I wanted to get on here and talk about what I watched because I thought it would be interesting to you, and you can go through the recommendations to see if you like them or not. So let's see what we've got. First, do subscribe to my newsletter. Twitter, if you want, letterbox.com, which I'll show you in a minute. Yeah. Let me get on here. Oh, that's me. We're just getting on here right now. First, I want to do one thing, which is I use this site called firstshowing.net. You can see the URL right there at the top. And I like it. It just shows me new releases. So if you want to look at new releases, this is pretty good. It gives you many of the mainstream releases, right? I noticed on here, actually I was poking around the Netflix media website and I noticed this, but you can see it on here. This movie, look at this movie, Spiderhead, 2022, just came out 3 days ago, well, June 17th. And I hadn't heard of it. Why? This is directed by the guy who made the hit movie of the summer, Joseph Kosinski. I think I'm saying his name correctly. Kosinski, who did Tron Legacy, which I actually kind of like. A couple other movies like that. But he's the director of Top Gun Maverick, so he should be getting a lot of press, a lot of credit. They should be promoting this to no end. Maybe I'm just living in a bubble or isolated myself. I just haven't heard of this. It's a science fiction movie with obviously Thor, Chris Hemsworth, and Miles Teller, who was in Top Gun. So is this movie any good? Why have I not heard of it? Why has my Twitter, which if I'm on Twitter, I'll get advertisements for all the new movies because Twitter thinks, the algorithm thinks that I should be have movies advertised to me. Why haven't I seen this? Is this a total bomb? Now, as a science fiction aficionado, I will watch this probably. I don't see why I wouldn't. And premise is okay. I just am very confused as I looked at this today. So there you go. Anybody out there, if you've seen this and it's terrible, I have not looked up Rotten Tomatoes. I have not looked up anything about this movie. I'm just curious as to why I have not heard of this. So if anybody knows why this is not being seen right now. I'm looking at, go ahead and comment on here. I'm looking at your comments. The Hobbit says Spiderhead is terrible. Well, if it's a terrible science fiction movie, that's usually pretty good because then it's unintentionally funny. Right? That's my hope and dream. That either the science fiction can't be bad because either it's good or it's terrible, in which case if it's terrible, then it's funny. All right. I'm going to go through some of these movies I watched. Not all of them, but some of them. A lot of them I'm actually watching so I can make videos on for the rest of the year. I've made a bunch of videos on these movies that you're going to see. This is my Letterboxd account. If you want to follow me over here, I'll check your stuff out. I really like this site. And letterboxd.com is what it is. You can link below in the description. So ratings are relative. They may change. Who knows? But there's a couple movies I want to highlight. And some of you have heard me talk about this. Maybe I did on the previous live stream I did. But this movie is just knocking me out. I watched it again. Dead Man by Jim Jarmusch. Shocked that I never had seen this movie because this is in my heyday of high school and college. 1995. Mid-90s movie. Johnny Depp. A lot of cameos in here. A lot of... I said in my second review of this is the #1 cameo movie ever. Could be an exaggeration, but it's definitely got to be in the top 10 or 20, right? And top 5. The cameos, I'm not even going to tell you who they are. They're just amazing. Watch the movie. Now, I like this movie as a spiritual pilgrimage. I like it for its weirdness. Beautiful black and white cinematography. Very interesting score. Great performance by Gary Fisher as an Indian named Nobody who thinks the Johnny Depp character is the real poet William Blake, which is a premise I absolutely love. It's a Western set in the far West, and the Indian thinks this character you see on screen is a poet, the English poet William Blake. So my write-up is you can get it. on Letterboxd, I just find this movie to be really fascinating. So I'm going through a bunch of westerns, and this is an oddball western that's realistic. It's honoring some of the traditions of the genre, and yet it's kind of its own thing. So I find this movie to be absolutely fascinating. If you have questions about it, ask me, but I would strongly recommend it. It's a slower paced movie. If you like the Coens, it will remind you of the Coens. If you're familiar with Jarmusch, you know, it's his aesthetic. And by the way, I should do a deep dive into Jim Jarmusch, who I do really like. I just have not studied him sufficiently to say that much about him, and I haven't on this channel, and yet I probably should, as this movie is kind of pushing me in that direction. So I've seen it twice this month. I really am appreciating it for whatever weirdo reason. Now, I say that because another movie that I rewatched, and I watched Dead Man, then I watched Dances with Wolves, because I haven't seen it in probably 30, I'm looking at the date here, 30 years. So I was suspicious that Dead Man, coming out in 1995, was some kind of reaction to or in the wake of Dances with Wolves, which won a Best Picture Oscar, Best Director Oscar for Kevin Costner. Huge movie in 1990. Imagine a Western that was the number 4 hit at the box office. I think that was domestic, U.S., but I'm not sure. It could be worldwide. Just try to imagine that and watch this movie and ask yourself how this was a big hit. Totally different time, apparently. So I rewatched Dances with the Wolves. I thought it was pretty good, okay to pretty good. I put it on my big screen. I've got access to a big 4K projector. It's not my own, it's my college's. But it's a really good big screen movie. The Blu-ray, I don't have it. The Blu-ray that I had was not actually that good. The transfer was poor, so that probably affected my viewing. I didn't think this movie was as great as the accolades it received at the time warranted. One is the story is basic. It's a little thin at times. The movie is long, and it has some very basic ideas in it that it doesn't develop. So the loner Robinson Crusoe figure of the U.S. soldier here, Kevin Costner, plays a Union soldier in the Civil War. He is some kind of suicidal hero during a Civil War battle, so that gets him the opportunity to go where he wants to go. He decides to go out west to a frontier fort, and he is transferred out there. When he goes out there, there's nobody there. So he lives this is a Robinson Crusoe story. He lives by himself, collecting stuff, building his little empire. And a wolf comes and shows up and becomes his dog friend. And then an Indian shows up and he's scared. It's kind of like Robinson Crusoe, where the native shows up and he's scared, but then he makes friends. And the movie goes on, and this is not spoiling one thing, but it's a man who needs a tribe. The Robinson Crusoe figure cannot remain an isolated individual forever. He's better off with a tribe, and that's the gist of it. This movie is definitely in favor of a number of Indians, though it does diss the Pawnee Indians terribly. So if you ever watch this movie, it's a pretty good Western. Let's put it that way. But I'm not recommending it for Gen Z watch, like go out and watch this. I think Dead Man, all the young viewers out there should probably try Dead Man, because it might be of their sensibility. Maybe not this one. This one might be dated. I don't know. You'll have to watch it and see. I do liken it to Lawrence of Arabia. I think this is a Lawrence of Arabia story where white guy, European guy goes out to the hinterlands, the frontier, the pre-modern world really is what it is. It's before European civilization. And it's a contrast of European civilization and this other world of the natives, who are the Sioux Indians. Sioux, Sioux. So there you go. There's Dances with Wolves. So you see, I'm rewatching these westerns to try to assess them, because I'm going to do a few big videos on these. Here, let me check out my live stream just a minute. Oh, things are going. Yeah, okay, very good. I'm going to have some comments here, so I'll get back to the comments in a minute. Very good. So those are my Western. Oh, no, one more Western. And let me indulge you for a minute. This one is leaving Criterion Channel in 10 days. So I think at the end of June, this one goes off the channel. I don't know where you'll find it after that, although presumably you can rent it. get it from a library. This is a Robert Altman movie made in 1976, I think right after he did Nashville. I think. And so this is a very interesting movie to me. One thing, I'm putting it in my underrated series. You'll see a video on it in several months. It's underrated. Very underrated. Why? Because everyone trashes it on the internet. Look at the ratings for it. They're terrible. On IMDb, on Letterboxd. The Amazon reviews are awful. I don't know what people are expecting of this movie. But here's what's really interesting about it. I'll try to give you 3 or 4 things. Robert Altman directs, okay? So it's very loosely structured. It's not necessarily audience friendly in that, it's typical Robert Altman stuff where he's got the camera in one place, but the audio or the dialogue is coming from somewhere else. Maybe the character has back turned on you, or maybe it's off camera. It's a very unusual style. I sometimes don't like it, sometimes do. Here I kind of like it. This movie is about the Buffalo Bill Wild West shows of the 1890s, where they put on humongous theatrical productions in big arenas, they being supposedly original cowboys, frontiersmen, Buffalo Bill himself, and William Cody. So this movie argues that those Buffalo Bill Wild West shows of the 1890s are the precursor to Hollywood studios of the 19-teens, perhaps the 20s, but even the 1970s. So the movie is a movie about show business. It's backstage Buffalo Bill Wild West show. And it's really fascinating to see that thesis play out. That idea of Buffalo Bill actually being a movie studio executive, a director, a star in a big show. And he's frustrated because the main problem in this movie, which I absolutely love, is that the real chief Sitting Bull of Custer's Last Stand fame, of course, Custer's Last Stand, all the U.S. military defeat, famous one, where they're all wiped out by Sitting Bull. Sitting Bull is asked to be in the Wild West show, which is a real historical fact. It's amazing to think about this. Imagine Osama. That's what I say in my video. Imagine Osama bin Laden. It's not even, you can't even ponder this. Osama bin Laden being asked to be in a Hollywood movie and then being marketed as a star, right? Now, I'm not likening Sitting Bull to Osama bin Laden. I'm saying that a perceived enemy at one time becomes a celebrity star. I'm sure I probably should think about how that this has actually happened in some other historical scenario. But Paul Newman plays William Cody, as you can see, and he struggles to get Sitting Bull to be in the Wild West show. He wants Sitting Bull to be authentic, and he's trying to get a star in his show. But Sitting Bull's sort of that eccentric movie star, eccentric historical figure who's like, no, or he has a lot of leverage, who asks for very strange things. And it's a really fascinating movie in that it's 1976, so it's a bicentennial of America. So the movie is all about, 1, backstage movie studio stuff, 2, what the Wild West really was, 3, what America really is. And I find this movie to have a lot of tensions in it. It loves vanity, but it hates vanity. It loves bombast, but it hates bombast. It's like we love and hate America for its vanity and bombast. And I find Paul Newman really alluring in this. He plays a vain jerk. I'm going to go on and on about this. I just found this fast. I like this a lot better than other people. So I'll recommend it. I better stop talking about this because you should just try it and see if you hate it too, like the rest of the internet. Okay. Now, speaking of movies that I hated, it's kind of sad. I wanted to like this. I watched this movie originally, John Carter by Andrew Stanton, who did WALL-E. And then he was given a big budget opportunity to make The Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs, which is the John Carter books. I think it's 19-teens. There's like 7 or 8 of these John Carter of Mars books that Edgar Rice Burroughs, who wrote Tarzan, made. So Andrew Stanton, on the 100th anniversary of the original book, made John Carter. And it's a science fiction romp where, again, Civil War, this is Dance with Wolves. Civil War guy gets transported to some other world. It's not even pre-modern, it's off-world, it's Mars, but it's sort of backwoods. Nothing more to think about it, it's Lawrence of Arabia again. John Carter's Lawrence of Arabia on Mars. I liked this movie originally, but I don't remember why. When it came out, it bombed terribly. Now I rewatched, I think, oh, this is bad. You can't follow the plot. It's impossible to understand what's going on. Nearly impossible, especially if you're not paying good attention. Nevertheless, my 8-year-old did like this movie. Because a ripped guy is jumping around, defeating white apes, these giant creatures. You can see him fighting monsters. So maybe this is great for 8-year-olds, young kids. I thought it would be better just because Andrew Stanton, but I don't think it's that good for a lot of different other reasons too. So anyway, if you like this movie, let us know why, but it doesn't rewatch well. That's sad, so it's 10 years old. Now, a movie I did like on rewatching it, which I hadn't seen in a long time, is... Here we go. It's a Star Wars movie. But here's what the thing about Revenge of the Sith to me. I think it's kind of like a Plutarch's Lives story. Weirdly, Anakin Skywalker is this sort of lost soul who's tempted to follow the devil, who happens to be a politician. So I kind of like the fact that that's in the movie. George Lucas seems pretty angry at a variety of things, including George W. Bush and neoconservatives in America. He's like, don't follow politicians, hate them. Well, he doesn't abide by that. Neither do a lot of people who have his political beliefs. But it's a very moralistic movie. Now, a thing I like about Revenge of the Sith, besides all that, the opening 20 minutes is spectacular. It's got a fabulous opening shot on a giant screen. It looks great. It sounds great. It's really a live-action Plutarch's Lives cartoon, which is science fictional. And some of the stuff in it doesn't make any sense. There's some bad acting in it. The reason I watched this, by the way, I have kids. My 8-year-old has been begging for a year to watch this. We have not let him watch it because, spoiler, Anakin gets scorched. It's a really disturbing scene. And of course, there's a scene where kids get killed in this movie, which... You think about this, why is this PG-13? There's some horror elements in here, but we were not letting him watch it just because we thought he might get scared by it and have bad nightmares, but he was old enough to watch it, I suppose. So you can tell me what you think of this. Another reason I rewatched it, because the Obi-Wan show came out. So, thought I'd try it again. One thing that George Lucas, here's something I don't understand about him at all. He seems to think that committee meetings will play well on film. As in, the Jedi Council, committee meeting after committee meeting. The Senate debates, committee meeting. Well, nobody in the real world likes committee meetings as far as I know. Nobody likes committees. They're a waste of time. They take up a lot of time. There's a lot of grandstanding. A lot of nonsense goes on. They're not very fun. And that would mean they're not fun to watch in a movie. Well, why did George Lucas think that committee meetings are fun to watch? Because the Jedi Council, all they do is babble in a committee and nothing happens. And they screw up. That's definitely true of Attack of the Clones, the second movie, but this movie, there's some of that too. It's as if George Lucas thinks we would like to watch C-SPAN, if you know what that is, the U.S. government channel where you can watch the U.S. Congress talk, and he would like committee meetings. He thought that would be good in a kid's science fiction movie. I'm not sure what went on there in his head there. I would think he would know that they're not entertaining these meetings. But anyway, all right. So those are my recommendations, or not recommendations, but I watched a bunch of movies, so some of them. I rewatched Karate Kid with my children. It was fun, basic, fun, ridiculous. It's fun to make fun of the movie as you're watching it. And some of these other ones, like The Conversation, Alien, Maltese Falcon, I will do videos on. Okay, so I will get there. I'm not going to talk about them. I do think The Conversation is better than ever to me. So I really, really like that on rewatching it. Now, I'm going to jump over to the chat. Because I want to see what you're up to, what you're interested in. A lot of people here. Oh, this is good, yeah. So, yeah, I live stream in the middle of the month. I should do more live streams. They actually get a lot of hits. More, like twice as many more hits as my my videos on movies that are more than 30 years old. So I asked about Spiderhead, this new science fiction Netflix movie. Someone says it's terrible. Another person says not great, not terrible. Not great, not terrible. The definition of a Netflix movie. Isn't that the definition of a Marvel movie? A lot of them. That's great. Yeah, so... And yeah, Evan Adams, Ghost Dog. Yeah, I got to get a Ghost Dog. If that's a samurai movie, Ghost Dog is Jim Jarmusch. It's supposedly like Dead Man, according to my commenters. Thank you. And I will be watching that for sure, as I love samurai movies too. Now, what is Crybaby? So Louis 1701 says Dead Man and Crybaby are your favorite Johnny Depp movies. Now, I thought I knew all Johnny Depp movies, but Crybaby? Well, I'm just not remembering that, probably. Crybaby from 1990? Oh, that's why. It goes way, way back. He looks like Elvis in this. All right, I don't know. I'll have to check that one out. I'll see if it's any good. See, some people are talking about Lawrence of Arabia. What do you think of Lawrence of Arabia now? How does it watch? I haven't seen it in probably 10 to 15 years, and I've been aiming to do a video on it. Well deserved to do a video on for however I think of it now, but I haven't seen it for a long time. I usually save Lawrence of Arabia for winter time around here because it's like the hottest movie ever made. In the desert, where he goes into the desert, it's 120 degrees, he's going to die. I usually don't like to watch that during summer when it's literally 100 degrees. I'm pointing to a window, 100 degrees outside right now. So, Lawrence of Arabia, good wintertime movie. Good to warm you up. Oh, man. You love the 4-hour version of Dances with Wolves. Now, I watched the theatrical cut of Dances with Wolves, saving myself an extra hour, I thought. If you insert another hour into Dances with Wolves, what is in it that makes it better than the theatrical cut? Because if you buy a Blu-ray or get a Blu-ray, most of them will have that 4-hour version. I went and sought out the theatrical cut because I only wanted a 3-hour experience. So, yeah. What do you think? Let me know what you think about that 4-hour version. Because it's always a question of, do you watch a director's cut, an extended cut, or do you watch the theatrical cut? And I found that with I don't think I have it. No. But if the Alien movies, all of them have a director's cut. Alien 1, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien 4. For all of those, the director's cut is better, in my opinion. It adds more scenes that actually help out. Most of the time when you add scenes, you're actually hurting something because you're adding unnecessary grizzle or stuff that's hard to digest or it's not unnecessary. But sometimes... Blade Runner, maybe. Extended cuts are good, so I'm wondering about that. I have not watched the movie Giant. I really do want to watch that, and I should. Which is a James Dean movie, Giant. Yeah. I'm looking it up right now. In fact, I'm sure it's on my watch list. George Stevens is the director. I do recommend East of Eden very strongly. So the James Dean movies, Rebel Without a Cause is strange. It's a very interesting movie as far as its ideas. Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, very good movie. But I haven't seen Giant, so that's the third. And this is a Western. I think it's related to There Will Be Blood. It's an oil field movie, right? So I probably should watch that for sure. Thanks for mentioning that, by the way. That's what I love about this channel. People are always giving me very good recommendations. Robert Altman made you hate Paul Newman. Yeah, Paul Newman is not a nice guy in Buffalo Bill. you're playing against type, that charismatic, handsome movie star. Think about Paul Newman, westerns, Hombre, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, right? And Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean. Paul Newman is a western movie star. You just don't think of him that way. But yeah, Robert Altman reworks Paul Newman. It's just great, I think. Well, it's a very good movie. I wouldn't say it's great. It's a good movie, that Robert Altman Buffalo Bill movie. Yeah. Yeah, Jarmusch. Yeah. I'm reading the comments here. Westerns you were surprised by. Assassination of Jesse James. I think Gen Z will like, or younger people will like that movie a lot. Those cinephiles who are younger will like, what is it called? The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. I didn't like that as much when I first watched it, but I have some in my memory appreciation of it. It has Brad Pitt in it, if I remember. One-Eyed Jacks is an excellent movie. One-Eyed Jacks, by the one movie that Marlon Brando directed, which will definitely end up on my best westerns list. I really like that. I just like the theatricality of that movie quite a bit. Oh, thank you. You're the best movie reviewer. Yeah. Thanks. About movie reviews, it's very dangerous on YouTube. As I was a complete idiot when I came onto YouTube, and people were telling me, "Oh, you have honest reviews." I'm like, "What's an honest review? Isn't everybody honest on here?" I've learned that is not the case. And then it's very dangerous because there's so many trolls and haters on YouTube. But that's okay. I'd say honest things. So I have to tell you, I'll show you something here. I don't know that this did not age well, but I think it will age well in the long term. Which is my Top Gun review. I watched it on Thursday night when it came out. Thursday afternoon, maybe, when it came out. I saw no reviews of it. I don't even read reviews, really, and watch reviews. I just go watch the movie. So I watched the movie. I said it sucks. So I think the opening 80 to 90 minutes is bad. The character development is lame. It has very obvious stereotypes in it. Tom Cruise is like doing this. He's doing a chaste sex scene that is responding to Me Too. He's and the old guy is the best pilot in the world. Okay, like what? So I liked the last 60 minutes a lot because I thought it was great filming of planes, and that's the thing that makes the movie great. People have overhyped this movie, in my opinion, after this. So we'll see. I mean, I think this is going to. I think when Top Gun came out in 1986, it was hyped. People loved it. I don't know if the reviews were great. I'm just saying it was well loved. And now, in retrospect, it's like, it's an okay movie. It's not great. It's dated. I believe that's what's going to happen to this movie, too. I think so. I don't know, but I think so. Maybe everything except the last 60 minutes. But the last 60 minutes has ridiculous 80s action hero stuff in it. I mean, what Tom Cruise, as a 60-year-old man, does at the end of this movie is absurd. In the sense they're trying to be realistic with the planes, but they're absurd in terms of being a movie action. Like, no one can do what he does, so it's fun. Anyway, I'm just saying, when you say I'm the best reviewer on the website, thanks, but sometimes I go against the trends for sure. Oh man. I trashed the Disney movies, and it probably hasn't aged well either. All right, so a couple more minutes here for me. Thanks to everyone, by the way. Top Gun. Yeah. The Swimmer. So there's a movie out there called The Swimmer with Burt Lancaster. It's sort of a concept movie based on a short story it's a late 1960s short story. It really feels like a literary work. Now, I didn't quite get the concept when I watched The Swimmer, so if you go look up my Letterboxd review on it, it's not that favorable. However, maybe I just miswatched it. And a lot of people do like The Swimmer. So you might check that out as a sort of high art literary concept movie with Burt Lancaster. Okay, so there's another possibility. Yeah. I have seen Lightyear. What does it mean, are you the guy? Have you seen Lightyear, are you the guy? I watched Lightyear. You can watch my my video on that. And I watched Lightyear. Did not look at the reviews. Did not look at Rotten Tomatoes. I don't look at anything. I just know who made the movie. Probably the movie premise. I don't watch trailers. So I know a few things, but I have a few expectations as possible going in. Lightyear is a really... I wanted it to be better. It has 3 really interesting science fiction plots in it. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Mashing them together, they don't cohere. It tries to be up and inside out, and I'm saying this in a good way, a teenage therapy movie about adult emotions and growing up and maturing, those kinds of ideas that Up and Inside Out have, with boys pulp action, crash bang sort of stuff, lasers everywhere. So those two things don't really work together. Now, among other things you could critique in the movie, which go out in the real world and people are critiquing it, but Lightyear could have been a lot better. If I could watch 30 minutes of Lightyear at a time, it probably would be pretty good. But I don't see how it goes together. I'm a little worn out as well by, and this is just me, personal preference, this is not you, the obvious way that animated movies create cutesy characters or funny characters. They're falling into formulaic ways of creating cute sidekicks and fun sidekick characters. So you got Buzz Lightyear, heroic, prideful, hubristic guy. Then you have, what do you do with that? Well, you create a cute sidekick. Well, what's a cute sidekick? It's some kind of pet. It's Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda who can talk. Big eyes, real small, very cute. And I had to say this so that the girls and the mothers will like the movie better. I mean, females in general, but maybe other kinds of people too. Clearly, this is how they're designing things now. And this movie is piggybacking off of the Mandalorian and what that does with Baby Yoda. So you see the cat robot socks in Lightyear. And then you see the comic relief in the movie, Buzz Lightyear's crew who helps him out. And it's like a computer. They have a computer formula, and they're creating buddy sidekicks. A little bit of the Marvel flavor of that. Less organic, in my opinion. It's less original. So I would like something more original. And that's what Pixar was known for, a little bit. I mean, yeah, they were stealing from Joseph Campbell, Hero's Journey, the Odyssey stuff. But it was a little bit better back in the 2000s, like the first decade of the 2000s, I thought. Anyway, a couple more and then we're done. Hunt for October, is that still good? The other movie I was thinking of, the submarine movies, is Crimson Tide. Has anybody watched Crimson Tide recently? Gene Hackman, Denzel Washington. Classic captain, subordinate, mutiny sort of movie on a ship. And I haven't seen that since about 1996 or whenever it came out. But I was thinking about it in terms of watching Gene Hackman movies, and I'm wondering if it still holds up. So, Hunt for October, does that hold up? I haven't seen that one in a long time too. So, it's good to remind me of these movies, which I want to rewatch just to see if I still like them. My tastes have changed since the 1990s when I was a kid, as I keep referring to myself that way. Winter Sleep is great. Oh, wait, Winter Light? Oh, the Bergman videos. Yeah, I went through Bergman last year. And so I'm doing Westerns now. I'm not promising anything. I'm going through the Westerns. And then my late July, early August is to go through Fellini and to see what I can make out of the Fellini box set I've got back there. So we'll see if I can do something similar with the Fellini as I did to Bergman. But thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And I've got Ceylon right there, too. Oh, I got so many projects to deal with on this channel. Yeah. Now, so Evan Adams, here's the last comment and this is really interesting. When Pixar, Star Wars, and Marvel franchise universes converge into one film, the world will end. They did. That's what Everything Everywhere All at Once was doing, wasn't it? The Ratatouille reference, there's a bunch of superhero references. Obviously, Matrix is in there too. Let's just take like the multiverse idea. Well, there's an infinite amount of movies, infinite amount of universes. Well, let's take all those movies, converge them into one thing. That's what I thought it was doing, one of the basic ideas of it. So it's one reason I liked the movie, because I thought it pulled that off very successfully. To take all of that franchise material, all that cultural material that people love, but in retrospect or rewatching is just okay. I need to rewatch Everything Everywhere All at Once, because I've seen it one time. But yeah. All right, so lots of great stuff in the comments. Always great commenters. You guys are fantastic. So thanks a lot. We'll see what I can get to in July. I'll probably get to mid-July because I'm taking a little bit of time off, but I keep churning out videos, so I've got video. If I die today, you'll have 6 months of me still. 6 months of my videos. So I won't... Although I'll be dead, I won't be dead. I'll still be around in the digital universe releasing stuff, which is kind of funny to me, as you can see. Anyway, take care, everybody. Have fun watching movies. If you watch any of these, comment on the video. Let us know what you think of it. And I'd love to hear from you, like you watch these Dead Man or Buffalo Bill. If you whatever you think about them, let me know, because I'm really curious to see if they resurrect and they're for our time more so than they have been for the past. So anyway, see you later, guys. Have a great day.